Welcome back, everybody. This video may have taken me a little bit longer to get to than I would have planned originally, but this is part two of the previews for the 2026 World Cup in the USA. And as I've kind of been starting, I'm focusing more on the playoff teams, starting with the European playoff teams. And my first episode focused on Italy, the biggest name team that is going to be appearing in these playoffs. And today I would like to focus on their first round opponent. These six playoff spots of the teams that are not yet confirmed for the tournament will be split up into two that are continental playoffs, so those will be a best of 2 game series. But in Europe, they are split into 4 groups of 4, and the best of each of those groups will be getting a spot in the World Cup. And Italy has to go through Northern Ireland. And Northern Ireland is a team that is much smaller than Italy, not as, I guess, it's not as much expectation on them at the national level. Haven't really been prevalent since the 2016 Euros, where Will Grigg and their team captured the hearts of many. But ever since then, they've just kind of been a non-factor, and hopefully for our Italian, for the Italian fans, they will continue to be so. But I think there's an argument to be made that they could give Italy some trouble and maybe go on to shock the world, to shock some folks, and stake their claim at the World Cup. Yeah, and I guess kind of how we got here was through not the traditional qualification process, but they won their Nations League group. They came out of Group C, which they also make their promotion hop into the Nations League B to play some tougher competition at the next round of Nation League games. But through their, I guess, World Cup qualification process, they played against Slovakia and Germany as the two they were in a 3-horse race for this spot. They did get a 2-0 win over the Slovakians, which was their most impressive win throughout this process, but they really were competitive. And the final day, they suffered a 1-0 loss to Germany. They suffered a 1-0 loss to Slovakia on the road, also within this process. But this was a German team that on the final day was pushing for that spot. They needed a win against Northern Ireland to fend off Slovakia for that automatic World Cup spot. So they weren't at full strength, as they were missing Musiala, which is one of their young starlets that has honestly kind of become a star in his own right at this point and will be a starter for them at the World Cup. But they were pretty much at full strength otherwise, and they could only eke out a 1-0 win against Northern Ireland. So this is not a Northern Ireland team that is just going to roll over. This is not a San Marino or a small minnow where they cannot win these important games. Northern Ireland went out and won the Nations League against some of those teams, Belarus and some other smaller nations involved in that, but they're not a team that it would be expected to make the World Cup. And honestly, not a team that would be expected to go out there and beat Italy at this point. But they do have some talent that play at fairly high levels that can challenge lesser teams than Italy probably, but could pose a problem for Italy. I actually think Northern Ireland is unlucky in this draw because there are a lot of other teams that they would go up against, and I'd be like, hey, Northern Ireland has a chance to beat those teams. And I think Wales and Bosnia and Herzegovina, both teams that have kind of aged out of their golden generations, are teams that if they can get through Italy, I think that this team has a chance to the World Cup. So focusing on Northern Ireland, this is a team that is going to need to lean on their physical presence. Now, that's not something that I would say is advisable against this Italian team. Italy is not a team that I would say struggles with a more physical, slow-paced team, as the speed is really what's going to beat this Italian team. But you never know, right? Center back for Northern Ireland, Dan Ballard, the real star rock of their team, is a player for a Southampton side that is absolutely overachieving in the Premier League this year. And yeah, he is paired with Trey Hume, who has shown to be able to score set pieces, as well as Paddy McNair, both championship level players who play in the second tier of England, which is still a top 10 league. It's not like a disgrace to be playing in the second tier of England, and that's where you're going to find a lot of these players for Northern Ireland, somewhere within that English pyramid. And they really are a team filled up of players that can challenge, right? These are competitive, these are physical, these are gritty players. In the center midfield, Isaac Price and Shea Charles will add a little bit of quality. Youngster Justin Devaney also lines up for Crystal Palace, my club, but he's kind of fallen out of the rotation. This year was definitely at the peak of his powers at the start of this year, but he's a player that Glasner trusts, and Glasner fighting for a team, I guess, kind of a coach that establishes a culture that was based on work rate. And that's what this team is. That is what this Northern Irish team is built on. They have a veteran forward in Jamie Reid, who will lead the lines for them. Jamie Donnelly, a youngster coming through Tottenham. I believe he's currently on loan, but they are players that are work rate players, right? This is a team that's going to beat you on set pieces. This is a team that's going to force you into mistakes, and if they do make mistakes, this is a team that can capitalize. And while the struggle of this team may be in that possession, in that quality, they are comfortable without the ball and have kind of set up in that 3-4-2-1 that is a very counterattacking system. And so this team is a team that will lock in, they will defend, and then they will hurt you. And going up against an Italy team that is also a little bit passive, right? They are not the strongest going forwards, but they are going to aim to control the possession of the game. These are two teams that fit up very, very nicely against each other as an Italian team that, if they can control the game, if they can control the pace, they are going to, and a Northern Irish team that is going to let you control the pace of the game and attempt to hurt you on set pieces. So this is a matchup that, while on paper it doesn't look great for Northern Ireland, as they really don't have that, especially that star striker that you would really be looking for at this point, at least not yet. They do have a very solid team. As I said, Devaney, they have Connor Bradley, Jamal Lewis, if he's healthy, that can play on those outside, on those wings, that'll be able to take a man on. They will go end line to end line. They have the stamina to do so, and they have a little bit of quality in Bradley and Devaney at the Premier League level. Jamal Lewis playing with Norwich in the Championship. They have solid quality everywhere on the field. And the one thing that is kind of another detriment to this Northern Irish team is that youth, right? Those center mids and Price and Charles are very young. On the outsides, Devaney is 21, Connor Bradley, 23, 24. Even Dan Ballard, who is like the rock center back of this team and the captain, he's going to wear the armband. He's going to be the star. He's going to be the head that they're looking for on set pieces. He's only 25 years old. So while it may not be this cycle that Northern Ireland goes out there and stuns some people, this is a team to watch for the future. And this is a little bit of a team with a little bit of grit. Now, in short, why you should care about this team. There is a little bit less to be excited about than the Italian team. There's a little bit less of that star power, but if you're someone who maybe is looking for a team to grit it up, to get it a little dirty, to be able to win in that mess, this is the team to do so. This is a team that is, it may play a little bit of Brexit ball, if you will, where they're gonna muck it up, right? They have the players to do so, and they have the comfort in doing so, and making the game a little bit messy. Now, their opponents, the Italians, are going to try and play a very clean possession-based style. And that may work to the Northern Irish, and they have no pressure against them, right? This is a Northern Irish team that is coming in without expectation, without really any pressure, as they're the excitement of the Northern Irish fans to just be at this point, and to support their country and to represent their country. This is where they're at, right? They have the level to challenge, to make this expanded World Cup, to push to make those last 48 spots, to make one of those last 6 spots. I think there are better teams at this level. There's a Sweden who will be challenging in the playoffs. There's honestly even Ireland, I think, has a better level than them. There's Poland, Italy obviously is here, right? There are countries that are better than Northern Ireland here, but I don't think they are undeserving of making the World Cup if they can go out there and beat Italy. And I think there is a chance to go out there and beat Italy. So in short, why you should care about this team is because they're young and they're hungry, right? This is a fiery team. This is a gritty team, and that is something that Italy has struggled against when they played against Norway, when they played even allowing 4 goals to Israel. When it got messy, when it got a little bit ugly, they seem to crumble, right? And this is an Italian team that has the pressure of last cycle's North Macedonia loss. They have the pressure of not making the World Cup in 2 straight cycles. They are going to be playing tense, right? They have the pressure of not being able to beat Norway and not being able to win that big game. This is another big game, and the youth and the inexperience of Northern Ireland may be a detriment to them, but the pressure that is on Italy is absolutely an advantage. And so if you're looking for another upset, if you're looking for a team to challenge Italy and a team to have some fun watching, and if you enjoy set pieces, right? If you are an Arsenal fan and you enjoy the mess of a set piece, if you are a Southampton fan and your star center back is waiting to win that header at the back post, right? This is your team. And I think, in the world of soccer, there's nothing that could be funnier at this World Cup than Italy not making it, to be honest with you. While the Italian fans, and there is some quality in that Italian side that will be missing if they are not at the World Cup, it would be funny to see the reaction of Italy not making it for a 3rd straight turn, and just how far they can truly fall. So the story and the shine and the pressure is on Northern Ireland just because of that spotlight. And so can these young stars step up to the spotlight? There's only one way to find out, and that's to watch the World Cup. All right, Wales video should be coming out a little bit sooner than this one did. The videos were a little bit spread apart. I got a little bit busy. But expect the Wales and the Bosnia and Herzegovina videos to come out fairly soon. I won't give you a timeline, but yeah, keep watching. Support soccer, support media, support physical media. Have a good day. Thank you.